Now the stair that I'm working on at the moment is a designer Stair's contemporary jobby. So there's a lot of little design features and it's like a piece of furniture. It has to be painted, so in this case to do the stair it's easier to paint it before you assemble than to actually try and paint it afterwards. So it's less work from the point of view of the finish being applied prior to assembly. With red deal, because I'm using red deal, it's a wood that has knots in it, so it would have resin in the knots, and it's vitally important that we'd actually treat the knots with a product like what I have here in my hand, which is knotting, which is actually a shellac, and shellac itself, technically speaking, is a French polish. So what it does is it seals in the rosin into the wood so that it won't bleed through the finished paint coat. So that's it as an individual product there. Knotting, I can apply it to each knot just to seal it prior to putting a primer on it or an undercoat. I have an alternative version here, which is a paint which is shellac based, which is quick drying as well. This dries in about 15 minutes. So I've got a shellac based paint this time, which is actually going to function as the priming coat plus the knotting all in one. So I've done all the two sides. I've done two edges on the back there, and when you're applying this, it's important that you keep that in mind when using resinous timbers, that you apply a product that is shellac based to seal in the rosin into the wood. Otherwise it'll actually bleed through the finished paint coat of the finished job, and that turns out to be an absolute disaster. So I'm doing the inside of the string now, and I'll just seal up that. It could be sprayed, but it's just so much work to actually, you have to tape up the joints because the joints are glued. We're dealing with joinery here. So I just apply a nice amount of product. I don't want to overload the roller simply because I don't want runs going down into the joint because they'll be glued. So it's just a little bit of care to be taken as I do that. So this works as a sealer and knotting at the same time. It's called knotting. Knotting. So this is what I have here, just to show you what I'm at. So I'm applying with a roller, get a much more even finish. Now when this is done, because it's a primer also, I'll have to come back and just give it a light dust down with finishing paper, so we'll show that in the next clip. So that's just what I'm at. Bit of extra work, but the full finish will be applied to the actual stair before I assemble it. So it's tedious, it's more work for me from the point of view of polishing, but it's faster for me to do it than for a painter to complete it or a polisher to do it after the fact when it's assembled. So in this case we put the sealer on. This is a product I haven't used before. It's both a primer and knotting all in one. It's quite thin, very thin solution, which makes it easier to apply obviously. The only thing about it is that we put out the right amount into a rolling tub because it evaporates quite quickly. Okay, think of a solvent, and it is a solvent. It's highly flammable, and but it does what it says in the tin, seals the knots, and it provides a priming coat all in one go, and that can only be good. So I like that. Wealth of products out on the market in today's world compared to years ago. As I said, the knotting that's there behind me, that's a shellac base, which would have been used with linseed oil many years ago when I was doing French polishing on antique work, and the odd time I would still do it. And but in today's world we've modern finishes that supersede the old ones in respect of application. French polish is a beautiful finish to put on any antique piece that might be repaired, and also it's the authentic finish that you would use. Now I'm digressing and I'm tangenting, so I apply an even coat. The more even the coat is here for me, the better. So again, I don't want to overload the roller too much. That tends to happen if we get over exuberant. So I say a little dab will do, and spread it well. It dries in 15 minutes, really good. That's really good. So you don't want runs or drips. If you allow runs or drips to accumulate, it's going to be more trouble to take them off because it's quite a hard finish once it's set. So I'm nice and gently at my leisure apply it. Now it bubbles a little bit there on the surface, but they'll all disintegrate, they'll all be as it cures. It will leave a little denibbing to be done when it's dry, but I would have to do that even with a sprayed finish if it was a sprayed primer that I was putting on it. And if it was a sprayed primer I'd be putting on it, I'd normally have to use knotting before it in order to seal the joints. So I'm getting 2 coats for the price of 1 with this. So that's the actual process there. This solvent base, it'll thicken very quickly, relatively quickly if it's not used. So small amount into the tray, use what you need and then refill. So that's it, that's the process. I'll leave that dry. I'll come back and I'll what's called denib it, show that in the next clip. And then I apply a 1 coat finish, which means that I apply 2 coats. I don't need to put an undercoat and a top coat. I've got a 2-in-1 product to do that as well. Again, it saves time in the application of the finish to the stair. So that's the first one done. Now I've just another blast of it to do. It'll take probably a full day just to do all the pieces that I have for the stair, and then I'll have to do it all again twice. So over and out for now.